Hi, Lincoln Charter School students. It's Mrs. Peterson here. Today we're going to be talking about spin art. Spin art is a type of art that's created by spinning the paper or canvas that you're working on. So I'm telling you right now, in art class, we will not be doing actual spin art. It uses a lot of paint and it creates a big mess. But you will get the chance to make some digital spin art in a little bit. Let's get rocking and rolling on this lesson. So we're going to watch this video in two parts, and this is an artist who makes spin art, and he travels around to different festivals and events, and he creates these giant works of art. So look for in this video, really pay attention to how the artwork spins and what kind of techniques and tools he uses to make his art.
Hey, it's Cal and Schaub. Here we are at CBC Music Fest. My whole studio is here. I'm going to be sharing with everyone my process, giving them an opportunity to interact. I'm really just excited to splash some color around and inspire some people. With my work, the finished product is almost like a snapshot, a recording of an event, and the event is more the art than the end result. And that's why I do it, is because of that experience itself. And so the best way that I can do that is to bring my studio out of the confines of like a building and like bring it out into the wild here, into a music festival where there's like 10 million things happening and like hundreds of people, and you know, just not have a secret about it.
Okay, before I go on to the next part of the video, if you noticed the artist, what he did was he took apart a bicycle and he uses part of the bicycle, you saw there was the bicycle pedal, to make his artwork spin. So he attaches the big canvas to where the bicycle wheel would go, and then he moves it with the pedal. Let's learn more about this artist.
Go time. All right, what's your favorite color? Red. All right, let's start with red. Colors? It's interesting. There's a difference between making art like on my lonesome, like on my own, versus like in front of a crowd. Whenever I have a crowd, there is a pressure to wow people. Whereas if I'm in the studio alone, I can have more opportunity for failure. But I like to share that too. The failure is almost the most important part. Like if every time my work was just like, it worked out, I don't think it'd be interesting. You know, when a piece doesn't work out with people, like they're wondering like, well, why did he stop now? And sometimes I even open that question up to people like, should I stop now? So one big question with like abstract art is like, when do you stop? Never! CBC Arts did a like in the studio coverage of me, and the video blew up, went viral, and just really changed my path as an artist. My whole process is an exercise of like letting go, and whatever happens, happens. And I kind of check my ego and my kind of expectations at the door, and when I enter the studio or enter a performance, it's about being open to whatever the color wants to do, whatever the paint wants to do, and letting that organically arise. You want to see what happens if we spin it again? Yeah!
Wow, what an awesome artist and amazing video. Did you guys notice all the different ways he put paint on his canvas? He poured the paint on, he used his fingers, he had like a swing full of paint that went across. He had what's called a pendulum painting, where you have it hanging over it and dripping paint as it goes back and forth. That was some amazing spin art. You can also probably tell why I'm not having you guys do spin art in art class. It's a huge mess. Now, if you ever go to the York Fair or some other kind of fair or event, you might see smaller spin art stands that will let you make spin art. And usually the artwork looks a little bit more simple, like this. And there you can see some of the different colors that might be used to make spin art. And here's another example of some simple spin art that you might see at a fair or some other kind of event. But there's also famous artists who make a living by creating those really big pieces of spin art. And a lot of times these are sold for a lot of money and hang in art galleries. So these are some spin art designs made by famous artists. And this one in particular was made by an artist named Damien Hirst, and it's worth $400,000. That's how much money it's sold for. And that was a couple years ago. It probably is almost worth $500,000 by now. And it's just a really, really, really big spin art painting. So now it's your turn to make some digital spin art. In just a bit, I will show you how to use these tools on the Toy Theater website to make your own spin art creations. Okay, so now I am on the Toy Theater website and I'm ready to start making some digital spin art. So let's start by clicking on the button that says spin and see where it takes us. Now I'm on the spin art tool and I'm ready to get started. Now, this is very easy to use. There are three main buttons that you need to know. The spin button, don't press this yet. The button that changes the size of your lines, and obviously the trash button if you don't like what you made. So with this, you can make as many lines and colors as you want. I'm going to start off by just making a couple of random lines and different colors. And it really doesn't matter what kind of design you make and if it's not quite perfect, because it's all going to get spun together anyway. Okay, you ready for the magic? It's going to spin my design. Ooh, that is super cool. And if you want, you can always go back and add more and different things on top of your designs and spin it again. The possibilities with this are really endless. So let's see what it looks like now. Ooh, super, super cool. And if I don't like what I made, I can always go back and just press the delete button and try again. So that is the spin art activity. Now I'm ready to check out the spiral art activity. Spiral art is a little bit different because it has rings that kind of spin together and make a design. Just like spin art, you can buy spiral art kits to make spiral designs. So let me show you how this works. There are three different tools here, and they just change the size of the circles. And they also move where that little tiny dot goes in the middle. The dot is kind of like your pencil tool. So I want to pick my first color. I'm going to pick pink and press play. And it will start to draw out my design. And it will keep going until I press stop. Then I can adjust all of these lines. And it's, once again, this is really fun to play around with. And pick a different color. And now it's going to make a completely different design on my paper. And you can even adjust this as you are playing it. So now I have just this little tiny line all the way around the outside. And you can also change colors whenever you want to change colors. So lots of different ways you can play around with this tool. And it will go all over the place. So that is the spiral art. And if you don't like it, just delete and start over. Now let's check out the Polygon tool. This is another one that just makes your design over and over and over and over again. Let me show you how it works. So there's some different levers that you can change. Frequency is how often your polygon is drawn. Sides is how many sides your polygon will have. So if you go to the bottom, you're probably going to have a triangle. If you go way to the top, you might have an octagon all the way up there. And then you can change the size of your polygon. I'm going to start with one color and press play, and I get a tiny shape. And then I can always remember change the size of my lines and change my colors. And I just like to slide these around and experiment with them. And now I have another design, and it's radial symmetry. It's going all the way around. Let's do one more. How about some orange? I'm going to just change my polygon one more time. And now I have a completely different design. So that one's really fun to do too. The last tool I want to show you is the Twirl art and math activity. And if you look, there is 4 quadrants or 4 quarters on this piece of paper. You're only going to draw in the one that says draw here, but it will rotate and duplicate your design the whole way around. Let me show you what I mean. So if I'm starting over here, I'm going to make my pen a little bit bigger. I start over here, my design is duplicated all the way around. And then I can go back in with different colors and different designs and make all kinds of things. The possibilities with this one are really endless. And I think this one's my favorite out of all of the tools. I just love the designs that you can make. So those are just some options from toytheater.com. You are more than welcome to explore all of the different ones in the symmetry category. Just make sure you're clicking on art and then clicking on symmetry, and those will be all the activities that you may do today. Have fun.